everyone, and welcome to the Kittens of War Gaming podcast, the podcast where the Kittens of War Gaming community talk all things video games for your audio goodness. This week we have TeaMug Tom, myself TurboTony, and Fraknyr. Say hi, guys!
Hello, guys!
Yes. Do you want to know what's big about this particular episode, guys?
What? What is it?
It's so massive.
What is so massive?
It's a huge, well, we won't go into that, of course, but it's a huge bit of news, and I want to put this right at the start of the podcast for listeners. We are not going to be around anymore.
Oh,
Sutter
no.
law!
Yes. We're going away for good, unfortunately. No, we're not. We're going away from this channel. The big announcement here is that the Kittens of War Gaming podcast will be moving. This has always been something that I wanted all the Kittens of War to be able to do, and now it's going to be one of those things that actually is on a Kittens of War gaming channel, and it's going to be its own channel. The gaming podcast is going there. We're going to have some of the group stuff that goes on there, and it's going to be more of a collaborative effort. So you won't just have uploads from me. You can have uploads from all the different kittens that play games that you may have seen on this podcast. Some that maybe you even haven't even heard before. I just thought it was fairer to do it that way, so that's what we're going to do. So this will be, as far as I know, the last podcast on this channel. So this is quite monumental. So this will be a pub question Sunday, guys. Are you ready?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you're ready. My body is ready. When I've got news of the channel and the link and everything, then obviously I'll put up a video about that and explain what you can suggest. And that way, you can have all of us there, not just on my particular channel. So that's the big announcement. New Kittens of War gaming channel will be coming to YouTube very soon, and the podcast will be one of the staples of the content on there. But apart from that, guys, now I've got that announcement out of the way. How are you guys doing?
Doing good?
I'm doing fine.
Do better with that announcement now, I bet. All right?
Oh,
A
yeah.
shared channel. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it's gonna be
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So we've got a packed show again for you this week. We do apologise for missing last week, but we did give you that juicy Castle Crashers footage, which you can now find on the Kittens of War gaming channel, which is coming soon. Sorry, I won't plug it too much.
Shameful plugins, that's what we're about.
Shameful plugs. I did an XCOM episode. It's called Shameless Plugs, so, we have to go around.
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah, that was quite good.
Well, I was plugging this podcast, no less, so, there's that. We do have a packed show for you there. We've actually got quite an interesting set of chats to talk about. We're going to review a couple of games. We're going to review a movie this week. What?
Something new and exciting.
Crazy talk right now. I will be removing, sorry, I don't want to remove it, I want to review it.
Yeah.
I will be reviewing Dredd 3D this week.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, the only Dredd film there ever exists and ever shall do.
Oh, we will talk about the other movie in quite detail
Wait,
as well.
what's that I hear in the distance?
And weird facial expressions.
Yeah, exactly. With all your veins bulging as well. That's the way it is.
All the veins bulging, every muscle in your face.
Wait, let's not forget.
Pronunciation.
Let's not forget Captain Codpiece.
Yes, of course.
That's slow move up with the camera, and he just focuses on the codpiece. No other real armor apart from the shoulder pads and the helmet, and you're just looking at it thinking, no, okay, sorry, we're not reviewing it now.
Yeah, of course. The other games that we'll be recording there this week, Tom is going to be looking at Primordia.
Another one of my indie faves.
Yeah, so he's going to be delving further into the recesses of his mind. I would be shocked by this time, Tom has just sunk into utter depression by the time we move on to the new channel.
As soon as we start the webcam things, you're just going to see me in a black beret, those John Lennon glasses, smoking pointless cigarettes and just answering every question with a rhetorical question about the bleakness and absurdity of existence.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all in my new book, Without Sunlight, Without Friends.
Looking carefully into a mirror at your own reflection. And
No. I would only ask the crashing waves on a black grey beach. I would ask the waves just rhetorical questions.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is life? Why does Mum want me to get a proper job?
Oh dear! All those powerful questions. Chris, however, will be doing something a bit different. He's going to be reviewing One Finger Death Punch. That's not the band. That's the game. So Oh no, is it Five Finger Death Punch? I think is the band, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, Five Finger Death Punch.
I don't know. I don't listen to them, so it's fine. I'm gonna start getting people loving the band hating on me now, but still. So yeah, that's what we've got packed for you there. The show this week, and we've got plenty of interesting talk. But we also got our gaming experiences, and I've got some massive news for the podcast this week.
Ooh.
Not just the announcement. I'm going to say it right now that it is heavily expected that the new Guild Wars 2 expansion will be announced next week.
Ooh.
That means nothing to me.
Hot damn! It means everything to me. Oh, Jesus. If this is an expansion, the Heart of Thorns, which is called, which will lead from the Season 2 that they did of The Living World. Remember we did that big episode, I said to them, if they don't do an expansion, this game won't last. Even I'm getting burnt out now, and I've played 2,500 hours of it.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like they are giving us an expansion, and if they announce next week it's not an expansion, then oh god, get ready. Get ready for the tirade that will happen on this show, where I go absolutely bombastic, mental at ArenaNet, because...
Speed metal will be playing in the background as Tony rages.
Yeah, literally. The hype...
Come aboard the murder train!
The hype for it now, with all the fans, is crazy. If they announce that it's nothing less than an expansion, then there may be just riots in-game, you know? I just think that would be mad. But new expansion, and you can imagine that if that comes out, I will be doing tons of content on that, because I fucking love Guild Wars 2. See, Chris, this is the reason why you have to get the game. You know?
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah, of course.
Always bothering me to get it in, chat.
I will bother you on your deathbed when the game is long been redundant and they moved on to Guild Wars 8 or whatever. I will be at your deathbed stroking your hand and be like, you should buy Guild Wars 2.
There's still time.
Here's your credit card.
My mind slips into the endless embrace of oblivion. I just hear this whispered voice on the edge of my sanity. I Guild Wars.
Yeah, that will most likely happen. The other thing that I've been up to, which was obviously Tom, but apparently Chris is too good for because he got an Xbox One, you know, because he's just like that. We were playing GTA Online again. I bought that again, so...
Yeah, that was tremendous fun. All of us donned in black camo gear, wearing various masks and just going around shooting things. Like, just things.
Yeah, we were doing lots of random stuff. And then we went on like a massive race championship thing. Which
I lost horribly.
Yeah, but you're only level like 19 or something, are you? Like, you don't even have like all the awesome cars and stuff. So you'll get there, Tom, okay? You know? Just gotta give yourself time. Don't sell yourself short, man. Come on.
What I really loved it though, it's just when you grabbed that helicopter, me and Matt were just sitting out the windows, sniper rifles going out, just hunting down targets whenever someone called us.
And we were going up to bounties. I remember we were doing that as well, just like going airstrikes on them. Which was
I did have a beautiful moment when I was playing by myself before my free trial ran out. Someone was just outside a gun shop. He had a 5,000 bounty on him. I just skidded my car. He jumped behind his, so we had 5 meters of wall between us, taking pot shots. I couldn't get a shot on him until I realised if I moved down 1 meter to the left, I could actually squeeze up a shotgun round into his face. And I did. I killed him. Yeah. And he just gunned after me just straight after that. Came straight after me. I ran into this little suburban bit where he couldn't drive in, and he was circling around me like a shark.
There's no way out, boy.
When he stopped outside the main entrance, Uzi out, spraying at him, and then he tried chasing me into the courtyard, into the centre courtyard bits, getting his car trapped. I just jumped into the nearest car and bolted away.
Go home. That's what I do.
Middle finger out my window, just going, bye.
See you
soon. Love
you.
Yeah, you find that a lot with trolls on GTA. They'll quite happily run around gunning everyone down for the simple, purification of fapping to annoying people because of assholes. But God forbid you actually manage to get a shot off at them, and they'll hunt you for the rest of the game.
It wasn't even that. It's just whenever I'd score a bounty, they killed me, I killed them. Suddenly they come out, they start gunning for me. I'm in my car already. I'm tearing away. I got what I wanted. I wanted my $5,000.
Yeah, you're just doing the bounty, man. One of the things that I found recently playing on my own is that I've got you've seen it, Tom. I've got a fully chrome Turismo R, which is one of the sports cars in the game. But to get chrome, you need to win tons of races to get it. So I've got one of them. Since I've got that, I've got people sending me friend requests, like left, right, and centre. They want to play with me with the Chrome thing.
Because you're such a pro.
Yeah. So, which Matt will remind everyone that the majority of the money that I got was from a glitch ages ago that I didn't try and get. It just came onto me, and I got like billions of dollars. But still, I still got it. That's regardless.
You can still buy me a house, though, can't you?
I can't. Well, you can't give money, can you? So. You know.
Well, maybe you should figure out a way of glitching the system so you can give me money.
I didn't start the glitch, Tom. Calm down.
You could have. The point is, I need to get myself a new apartment because the one I'm in is crap.
Yeah. Why don't you save up and get like the $500,000 apartment? You know, then you got one over all of us. You know.
Tom, just do what I did. Go to that survival that's go up to like the survival that's by that aeroplane graveyard, and just camp out there and play like a good few rounds of that.
That's not even viable. They've upped all the money now, so doing survival in terms of money per minute is actually less than actually doing the missions now.
Really?
Oh, yeah, just reminded me of this one other experience. Playing a couple of missions, like 5 missions with this one guy. Suddenly he ups out to free mode, and then I just go, all right, fine, he wants to do free mode, fine. And I just have a moment where he's still loading in. I just put all my money into my deposit. Suddenly, first thing he does, come up to me with a silent shotgun and shoots me in the face.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah,
trying to steal my money.
Like, first time I played it, I played like a crap ton of missions. This was on my old profile because I had to change over my profile because I forgot the password. But I was playing on my old profile. I was playing it for ages and I ended up getting into a load of missions with a big bunch of people. And they all slowly started filtering out because we'd been playing in the same maps as like the same group for ages. So as usually happens, they started filtering out. And I was like the last one left in, so I thought, okay, I'll exit this. I came out of back into free mode in front of the pay and spray that's in the city. You know, the one where everyone gets ambushed.
Yeah.
And true to form, I pop in and I'm just like surrounded by dudes. I had like a single second just go, oh, shit.
And then it's like The Godfather, you know, just getting littered with bullets in your car.
Ave Maria.
Like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. Just overkill, yeah.
And then I respawned like 10 feet down the road and they just turned around and lit me up again. I was like, oh, come on.
I just had this image of just body snatcher style scream, but screaming out, money!
I did have someone who was like a level 30 chasing me for a while, and I was like a level 6 at the time, but I'd just come out of one of the heavy weapons maps, and I had like a grenade launcher. And they were chasing me for a while. I led them into a construction site and just like hid in a construction site for a while. They managed to get their car in, got out of their car, and then I promptly blew them to smithereens. And then stole their car. Yeah, and I drove away with their car. They were chasing me for a good 10 minutes trying to get it back. I was like, no, it's mine now.
I love those early days where people didn't realise that literally by a tap of a button you could stop anyone being in your car. Like, in the early days, no one knew that, so it was like, oh shit, they've got my car, how do I get it back? And it's like, well, you just press this button and then they can't steal it.
See, I did not know that, so I'm going to take that past that later.
Yeah. So what have you been up to this week, Chris, anyway? What have you been up to, Chris, this week?
Well, my gaming experience. Well, I got Dragon Age Inquisition, which I managed to get quite cheaply. Actually, they were doing it for like 35 quid on Xbox Gold.
Oh, nice.
Which, considering how expensive it is everywhere else, the cheapest I found it, even on eBay, was like a good 40 quid. So yeah, I got that. I also forked out a tenner for the deluxe upgrade stuff, where you get like loads of weapons and stuff.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. And yeah, I've just been playing that like non-stop since I got it, because I'm
dick.
Yeah,
because it's awesome. Yeah.
I like the first character I made is like, well, we're going to talk about this in depth when we do our Dragon Age Inquisition like full episode thing.
Yeah.
Do like a Dragon Age special soon, maybe, kind of, almost.
I'm gonna like set away like 4 hours because like we can end up talking about that for God knows how long it'll be.
We're gonna go on about that. There's gonna be some rows about that as well.
I think we might actually have to have an submission in the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I took full advantage of this game because it was the first game you could play as a Kunari. So I was like, Kunari, warrior, woman, two-handed specialization, just pounding shit. I'm a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
Who don't need no man.
Yeah, who don't need no man as I chop someone in half.
Yeah.
With a great big axe. But yeah, it's been really fun.
I bet Ironbill was just staring at you with such a steamy expression.
Yeah. Even though I have to say, I both really like this game, and I'm actually a lot very disappointed in the game as well. It's a toss up because it's a good game, but it's so full of bugs. I mean, I brought this up on the page a little while ago, and you guys said that your copies weren't so bad. Like, there was some bugs, but it wasn't anything that was too grand.
Yeah, the pop-in was the kicker. Like, the graphical pop-in on the Xbox 360 version is pretty extreme. Like, the amount of times literally your characters load in and their faces would be like just really low res, and then gradually just build up, and it was like, okay, that's really breaking immersion. But
yeah.
But you had game-ending like stuff that actually crashed your game, though, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I've had stuff I've had to restart the console for, or I've had stuff that's just really fucking weird and shouldn't happen on a next-gen console. It just there's no excuse for it. Like on an older console, I can understand it a little bit because it's an older console. This is a new game, but this is a next-gen console with a game that was specifically designed for next-gen. It's unacceptable, just like it is in. Just like I said in when I said about Assassin's Creed Unity, it's unacceptable there, and it's unacceptable here because these are next-gen games for next-gen consoles. There shouldn't be any of these problems, and even if there are, they shouldn't be to this degree. There shouldn't be this many of them.
Yeah,
and it would really piss me off, especially when I'm walking around and like enemies would just go into existence from nowhere.
Yeah, I've had that a few times.
It's just like, oh well, okay, I guess I'm fighting these guys now. I mean, like, you know, they're about 8 levels behind me, so they're not a challenge. It's just an annoyance more than anything. It's just like as if you're walking down the street and someone like threw a beehive at your face. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, get away.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with this right now.
But despite that, I've had fun with it. The voice acting in it is really good. There's some really funny character moments. Varric needs to fucking cheer up, though.
He's so depressed.
He was a bit miserable this time around, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was really disappointed with that. I was like, oh, Varric, come on, man. You were like the funny rogue in the last one. Always with a smile, always with a comeback.
The twinkle in your eye.
And now you're moping around. Cheer the fuck up!
Although, to be fair, if I was surrounded by the thing that made my brother insane, I'd probably be a little bit...
Well, yeah, considering it's like, you know, he kind of blames himself for the whole Corypheus thing. It's like, I thought he was dead. Did we not kill him, Hawk? Apparently not.
I swear we did. I remember distinctly putting 7 arrows in the bugger's eyes. Each one.
Anyway, as we said, we will talk about that in extensive depth, and that more likely will be the first episode of the podcast on the new channel. So that's a humdinger of a show that you do not want to miss. I would state, humdinger. That's my podcast saying now. You know.
Yeah.
Let's get on to our reviews this week. As we said before, we've got Dredd 3D, we've got Primordia, and then One Finger Death Punch. I'm not used to even reviewing, let alone going first, or even reviewing the movie. So that's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
It was actually quite weird. We did the last episode, and I reviewed a game, and I realised that was like the first time ages that I've actually reviewed a game in ages.
I'm just getting reviewing all Tony.
I even got away with it. Remember, Chris, when you hosted an episode and I didn't even review a game then? I was just like, I'm relaxing, just talking about
yeah, you were just
right here.
chill.
I'm just taking it easy.
Yeah, I was. I even had my feet up and everything. I was like, oh, this is my life. But I actually have to work this time, you know, so... Oh well. So yeah, my review is on Dredd 3D. This is the first movie we are covering on the gaming podcast. I know it's a gaming podcast, but every now and then we want to talk about media that we do enjoy as well. And the reason why I brought this up this week is because it is relevant. There was a article done by I think it was the head writer of the movie, who said it would be extremely unlikely any sequel would be made to Dredd 3D. It might get picked up later on, you know, by a different company, but they might make a new Dredd and go in a different direction.
Yeah, but that would be a shit direction.
It would be. I think any other direction apart from where this movie was going would be a little bit of a downgrade. But...
As far as I'm concerned, this movie actually hits Dredd... hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, hit the Dredd on the head. What the hell does that mean?
Dredd actually is.
Yeah.
It's more true to the comic.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan. Just to, like, my history around Dredd, right, is that my dad was a huge fan of the comics, and then, you know, as you're a kid, anything that your dad or your family is a fan of, naturally you will see as well and stuff like that. So I became a huge fan of Dredd. And then the Stallone movie came out, and then I kind of didn't understand at that point the reason why my dad was almost screaming at the TV, "Why the fuck did you take your helmet off?" He was going mental, and I was like, oh, is that such a bad thing? And then now I realise, after reading loads more.
And seeing Carl Urban just... Yeah, this might turn into a drawl fest over Carl Urban, so...
Yeah, he made up for Doom in that film. He really did. Even though Doom is my guilty pleasure film, I would admit I do enjoy watching that, even though it's fairly ridiculous. But
I know what you mean.
That, he's not a bad actor. He hasn't got acting chops.
Carl Urban's fantastic. He puts himself in a lot of movies like this because he loves the franchises, so he almost puts his name on the line a little bit, and he did for this movie as well, to be honest, considering what it could have been. They could have made it so he was just as campy as the rest of them.
Oh yeah.
But so let's talk about, before we go about this movie, let's just briefly talk about the 1995 Dredd, Judge Dredd, with Sylvester Stallone playing the lead.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, that scene made a lot of fans unhappy. The fact he took his helmet off, because that never happened in the comics.
See, I didn't know a lot about Dredd until fairly recently. I'd watched the original Judge Dredd, but I hadn't watched it in a while, and I didn't really know a lot about Judge Dredd because I haven't read any of the comics or anything. And then, as I've been watching more and more of YouTube, I've been watching some movie review stuff as well on Screen Junkies. And they do movie fights and stuff like that, which is kind of what we're doing now. It's like a podcast panel, where they answer questions from their audience. And they were talking about Judge Dredd as well. So I actually went and looked it up. And after doing a bit of reading on Wikipedia and finding some of the comics online, I was looking at it going, they kind of fucked that up. It's like taking his helmet off kind of ruins the whole mystique of what Judge Dredd is. Yeah, kind of breaks him a little bit. Why did they do that?
The thing is, I think that they did. There's about two huge things that I think they did wrong in the original Judge Dredd with Stallone. One, they portrayed him as a superhero. He's not a superhero.
No. He's an agent of the law.
He is a cold, hard machine of justice. He doesn't have any superpowers. Anything he has close to superpowers are his conviction and his authority. That's the closest thing he's got to superpowers, if you can call that, right? Yeah. And the other part of it is that they made it so the character of Dredd was just way too emotionally involved. At that point. I think one of the biggest points, and like I said, I want to go into it when we talk about it, you go to the two big moments of both movies. One, in the first one, where you've got Dredd literally shouting the word law at the top of his voice, and you've got his brother doing exactly the same. Yeah. Pretty much like that. It's been, absolutely mean to shit. Have you guys seen the remixes? They're bonkers.
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah. It's like everyone, even people who haven't seen the film, have seen.
The 20 years one is my favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
20 years.
20 years. God damn it, Stallone.
Yeah, I know. He completely overdoes it. And, obviously that's, what he is. That's what Sylvester Stallone does. And that's a Hollywood version of Dredd.
Film star, wasn't he? That's kind of how things were done. I think that's kind of why...
The swaggering, overly macho nonsense.
That's where all these problems come from, was because it was an 80s action film, so it was going to be ridiculous.
Well, the thing is, I think the two big differences, you look at that scene, right, that's been completely joked, where he's shouting out, I am the law,
I am the law!
Right? Dredd himself would not shout out, I am the law. He is, and as Carl Urban's Dredd does it, he doesn't have anything to prove to anyone. He doesn't have to shout out that he's the law. He is the law. He doesn't need you to know that. He does, but he doesn't need to shout it in your face.
He is the personification of justice and law.
Yeah. He doesn't have anything to prove.
Carl Urban does it is it's not a declaration of who he is, of what he's going to do.
It is a simple statement.
Simple statement of cold, hard fact.
Yeah. He's basically stating it's not even like a warning. It's just, okay, this is what you've done wrong. This is what I will do. You are not the law. I am the law. I'm coming to give you justice. It's not like him screaming. He hasn't got a personal vendetta. Even after all that's happened, he doesn't have a vendetta against Mama. It's his job. She's a criminal, and he will judge her. That's his job. That's what he does.
That's one thing I did actually. So I sort of pointed out, which actually really rings true. I mean, what's the his protege in the movie called again? I forget.
Well, in the new one, Anderson.
In the
Well,
new
it is
one,
in Judge Dredd as well, but yeah.
Oh yeah, but she's got the psychic ability. She says, I'm pretty sure this is the guy who skinned those 3 lads." And he's like, "You sure?" 99 positive. He just looks and says, "Can I convict a purple 99%?" He needs 100% completely and utterly, and it needs to be certain.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
that is justice. Justice is certain.
Even if he wants to beat the living shit out of criminals in front of him, unless he doesn't have the proof to do so, he just won't do it, and that's okay with him. He doesn't have the proof, and that's the character he is. He's just he's a badass, but he's a badass because he has so much conviction, and that's the character, Whereas the Dredd one, he's all over the place. He's making jokes. He's joking with Rob Schneider about if he's crying or not. And,
that annoyed me, Rob Schneider.
Do you think that Dredd, even in that movie, would have the time to really worry about this guy that's next to him? He's just like, okay, well, you're here. I need to go do this. I don't care if you're crying. And he wouldn't even say that. He'd just do his thing.
I'm pretty sure he would actually just slap him.
Yeah.
Carl Urban would not put up with Rob Schneider's bullshit. Just straight up slap. You need to man up, boy, or you're going to die.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
So if you guys want, a movie that's so bombastic is not true to the Dredd character, then I guess the original movie might be something that you enjoy. And even then, I love Judge Dredd. I go back and watch. I love Judge Dredd as a character. I go back and watch Stallone's one, and I do it out of a reminiscence because I watched that as a kid and I thought it was awesome. At that time, because as a kid you think that playing with your own shit is awesome. So you know what I mean. It's not exactly much different. I expect more.
What childhood was like, Tony.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, And
I know what you mean.
So, as I came to know more throughout my juvenile years about what Dredd was as a character, you realise, wait a minute, this wasn't a Judge Dredd movie. This was a Sylvester Stallone action movie. This, however, Dredd 3D, that was released, I think, a couple of years ago now. Mm. This is a Judge Dredd movie, just outright. This is exactly what the character is like. Any actor that wanted to play Judge Dredd had to sacrifice the fact he would get no face time on a camera. And so the fact that Carl Urban did that from the get-go, he has to be commended. In this modern age of Hollywood, where your face is everything, that was a good step by him. That's how desperate he was.
Yeah. And ironically, that will make people remember him more.
It will, yeah. Isn't that ironic, isn't it? There's so many people. I mean, no, Stallone, he didn't want to go the whole original movie without having his face shown. I think that was part of the reason why his face was shown. Yeah. I just think that's completely wrong. But so let me just paint the picture. This is a spoiler-free review of Dredd. And I say spoiler-free. I'm going to give you some of the background, but I won't tell you what happens at the end or anything like that, right? So the area of what happens in Dredd, which I know you guys know well, but I'll say to our viewers. It's in a not so distant future where essentially overpopulation has made mega cities. So
it's a dystopian future.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did have to say that.
Yeah. Basically, essentially, humanity has crumbled in on itself, and now these cities are basically huge apartment complexes that house way too many people that should be really in there. So you could have entire cultures to 2 blocks themselves. It's just so with this crumbling amount of overpopulation comes a huge amount of crime. That's what happens in real life. That's just natural. The more people you have there are more people to police, which means more crime. That's just the way it is.
There's also a lack of opportunity there, isn't it? Because these megacities, they're crammed. There's a finite amount of food. There's a finite amount of employment. Unemployment leads to crime. Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, that's what I mean. The city, everything is crumbling in on itself. And the police are the Hall of Justice. And the Hall of Justice can only, as announced at the beginning of the film by Dredd, can only respond to roughly 12% of every call that's made on a daily basis. So that means that 88% of calls made. So imagine that. 80. Imagine if you were getting robbed right now and you called the police and there was only a 12% chance someone would even come to your door. That's a scary prospect if you think of that. That 80%, 88% of the time you might get robbed and no one will even come to your house to even make a statement on it. That could be a thing. So it's basically the city's just crumbling under its own weight, and the way to combat this then is to basically essentially cut out a lot of the chaff out of the the judicial system. having these long. Imagine, Oscar Pistorius, doing his dreadful thing that he did, going on he went on a year-long trial. It just took ages. In this world, that would not happen. A judge would come to your house. He would look at all the proof, and he would convict you then.
I say that's why they were the judges, weren't they? They literally had, when they got there, what they seen to judge, effectively.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they needed more research, then obviously they would go do that. But if they thought they had all the proof there to state that you had murdered this woman and you were worthy of death, they wouldn't put you through a year-long trial. They would put you on your knees and shoot you in the head. And put you in a body
They
bag.
convict you there, they sentence you there, that's it.
Yeah, they are judge, jury, executioner.
It's a very conveyor belt system of justice, isn't it? But it has to in a brutal world like the world it's set in.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing about it is that a lot of the big theme about Dredd is the fact that even because of the fast track of justice, there's so many loopholes for people to abuse that within the policing system. So, judges may kill people when they might be innocent, but they're just so cracked under the pressures of the job. So it leads to a fact that even the law sometimes isn't even respected because people, that's a large part of the comics that, a lot of people don't like the judges. They're scary because they might kill you even if you're innocent. If they deem you guilty, there's nothing's going to save you. You will die. That's the way it goes. So it's quite an interesting. I think it's an awesome back piece. And just so many stories you can tell, within that. So what happens in the movie essentially? There is a young recruit called Anderson who has psychic abilities, but she's failed her tests. But her psychic abilities are so good that they want to give her a chance anyway. And who better to teach her the ropes on how to be a judge than one of the best judges that they've got, which is Judge
the
Dredd.
Iconic judge himself.
Yeah. Who is well known among criminals as being a guy that just won't let go. He will just do everything he can to make sure that justice is served. So basically they go out on a day and she's shadowing him. They get a call from this place called Peach Trees, which is one of these massive apartment complexes owned by a woman called Mama who has control over one of the newest crazes in drugs. It's basically it's called slow-mo. It slows down time, essentially. That's what it does.
10% its original pace, isn't it?
Yeah. And they do tons of really cool camera work, especially with the 3D, where they'll slow down bits and show you the gory parts, or they show you the beautiful nature of just water being flinged up in the air and all that lot, and the light bouncing off it. They make the most of it, I think.
That's actually what I really enjoyed about this movie. I mean, it was 2012 when it came out, and slow-mo visuals had been done to death after The Matrix, and even before that. But this one actually justified it by giving a reason for you seeing slow-mo, slow motion time, which is actually the effects of the drug itself. And I don't know, I can't think of anything anyway, of anything that has done an explanation to why you're seeing this, which to me was just fantastic and refreshing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just we're being fancy with the camera work. It's just don't you see this? This guy's on drugs, man. It's hilarious, isn't it? Well, not even so much hilarious, but this is just cool.
Yeah.
It was also shot very well. It didn't look like some slow-mo in some films looks really half-assed. It's just slow-mo for the sake of slow-mo, but this was shot very well, and it like because they were on drugs, everything took on a really overly shiny flare,
lens flare kind of quality.
Yeah, and it worked really well for the film, and it's not all over the place either. It's not full back-to-back slow-mo. It's only in certain sections where it can fit.
Funny enough, it's in sections where slow-mo is almost it enhances the fact of what's going on. There's two big bits where there's slow-mo, and one of them's in the spoiler part, so I can't say it. Another one's in the trailer, so that isn't a spoiler.
Okay, I can think of 3 instances of slow-mo. One was the 3 lads, one was the break-in, and the final one was the spoiler part.
Yeah, well, the break-in is what I'm talking about, the bit where
sorry.
they blast open the door. That's in the trailer, so I don't think that's an issue really saying that. But it's you're seeing through the eyes of these guys basically drugged up, and the judges come in, and there's a gunfight, and they're on slow-mo. They can't stop themselves from essentially being murdered. And they're seeing everything in slow motion, all these people basically being taken apart and possibly trying to fight back, but it's useless. And it's how scary would that be that you've taken this drug that basically slows down time and you're watching your own death in slow motion?
Yeah.
I will say now, the judges didn't kill indiscriminately. They killed people with weapons. I mean, we saw 2 teenagers go into the slow-mo den. They both taken. One's pulling up a gun very slowly. Dredd sees it, just looks at him, blam in the face.
Yeah.
And the other lad's just suddenly comes down off this high, and he's got his hand, and he's shivering like he's just come out of a freezing shower.
Yeah, wouldn't you though? To be honest, you'd be like, "What the?"
You're
fuck?
just looking at this, and it's just like, oh, it's the law.
This was a bad trip, I think, is what you would say. But yeah, it's awesome, that sort of stuff. There's two things that I think people will notice quite early on in terms of how the movie is set. One is that it relies very heavily on physical effects rather than special effects. So the guns, the actual reading of the guns is all like, proper. It's not like computed in. That's all proper.
A lot of practical effects.
yeah. It's like a lot of stuff is like actual physical props in their hand rather than, all this other stuff that that they edit in later on. Which
I actually really admire the lawmaker, the lawgiver,
the lawgiver,
name
yeah.
of the gun.
Yeah.
It was actually properly made, and I'm just looking at it and I'm just thinking, I've got a Nerf gun that I could actually mod really heavily. I could actually make it into the lawgiver, and I could cosplay as a judge.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
One of those days when I actually when I actually finish university, get a proper job, and actually buy the armor to go with it, then I will happily cosplay as a judge.
Yeah. I would love to cosplay as a judge. That would be awesome.
If we can, I would actually love all three of us to go as judges and just walk past a group of stormtroopers and just stare at them. Because then you just know that everyone's just going to go, oh, it's going to go down. And just one of us has to say, you're not the law. We are the law.
We are the law. It'd be good stuff. Also, one of the big things from this movie is the big bad villain that is played by Lena Headey, who, as you may not know her name, you would know her other work as Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Point of interest, actually. In the original writing, they were going to have Mama played as an elderly woman, but Lena actually convinced them to have a middle-aged, man-hating woman.
Yeah. They wanted an overweight elderly woman or something like that. I think there's something like that, or just an elderly woman.
It does sound cool when you think about it, just almost like the spider in the centre of the web.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Yeah, this sort of thing. But I think her performance here was good. A lot of people said she wasn't in it enough and stuff like that. I get that. But I think this movie, primarily, its goal was to educate its audience about what kind of character Judge Dredd is when he's faced with... Even when he's faced with almost overwhelming odds, that he just doesn't budge. He is who he is. I think the movie... A lot of people are like, they didn't give enough story to Mama. While I get that, I think that the movie was well paced, and it was all about showing you who and what Dredd is, because no movie before definitely hadn't told us exactly what character he is. And if that was the objective going into making this movie, then they succeeded, just hands down. If they wanted to show fans who the fuck Dredd is, they did that.
Well, they gave you enough to be getting on with, really. They gave you enough story to kind of know where she's coming from and what happened. Like I think if they went too far into it, the movie would have ended up being too long,
wouldn't it?
Yeah. People would have complained that it's too long, too much backstory. So I think they kind of hit a nice balance with it, really.
I mean, I think it was perfect the way they did it. At the end,
the only reason why you're asking more is because it's pulled you in nicely enough that you have to know more. You want to know more.
That's it. That means they've done something right at very least, So, the good thing, I don't know whether you guys felt the same way about this movie. A lot of movies, especially action movies, will start off with pretty much, it's almost like Call of Duty, right? In terms of games. They will start off giving you the best that they can give you right at the start of the gate, and then it kind of tails off. The longer it goes on, the less good it gets. They've pretty much shown you all their toys and pretty flashy effects at the beginning, and then there's not really much really to see after that. I think Dredd, as a movie, gets better as it goes on. Like, it builds up to a crescendo. It's almost like, a lot of people said it's almost like video game like, in the sense that they're going up all these levels and they're basically just conquering as they're going upwards, up to their goal.
Shit's always going up to another level.
Yeah, essentially.
I wouldn't actually akin it to a video game because it just feels real. Well, for want of a better word, realistic to me. It doesn't feel like it doesn't. It takes the nitty gritty and it runs with it, and the harsh realism, like this war of mine. Yeah. If we're going to compare it to games, because it's just life. It's not happy. There's nothing good about life. Without sunlight, without friends.
Here we go again.
Oh, God.
I'm going to go back. I'm just going to go into an emo phase if I keep carrying down this route. Jesus
you know,
Christ.
when we start doing videos and stuff, which will be happening in the future in terms of our faces being on the podcast, we're going to have to put like black and white over your face just to make it even more noir for you. You know?
Yeah, black and white with like a sepia overlay on it.
Yeah.
I've actually got a pair of John Lennon's sunglasses somewhere.
Oh god. Here we go.
It's for steampunk cosplay, all right. And I took inspiration from Dr. Holocaust, the greatest of Canada's supervillains.
Okay.
Look him up. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Detracted.
I want to wrap this up anyway. I don't want to talk too long about Dredd the movie, especially as it's a spoiler-free review. But one thing I would state, if you're wondering as a Dredd fan, right? I know a lot of Dredd fans have already watched this because they are, but if you're watching this as just a film fan and thinking, I don't want to watch this Dredd thing, it's going to be like the other one, believe me, guys, it's the furthest thing away from what that was. Yeah. It is completely
It's like
different.
serious older brother of some kid overdosed on Cocoa Pops after he watched 80s action movies.
Yeah. I trust you, right? I get annoyed when people book this as a superhero movie because it's not a superhero movie.
It's not a hero.
Yeah, he's not a hero. He's not even a nice guy,
He's
Dredd.
not the hero we deserve. He's the hero we get.
Yeah. Like I said, like Dredd himself is not a person that I would want to go out and have a drink with. He's not a nice person, but he's awesome.
I don't think he even has a persona outside of Dredd.
Yeah, that's just who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like an anti-hero movie. That's what Dredd is. He is an anti-hero. It's and it is a anti-hero movie, sort of like Sin City. I mean, most of the guys in Sin City are fucked up nut jobs, but they're kind of good guys, really? Maybe. I mean, Marv's a fucking downright maniac, but he still kind of does the right
light, and they're kind of like heroes.
Yeah.
But the thing about Dredd is that, he has all the tools to become a hero because of, the fact he's doing, the law's work and everything like that. But he's never put off as this, he's never booked in this movie as a hero. He's booked as a man caught in an impossible task of having to do his job every day. And he does it with so much conviction and believability.
The first scene, you remember when that guy's taking that lass as a hostage? He doesn't even negotiate. It's straight up. You're going to stop what you're doing, get on your knees, hands behind your head. You'll spend the rest of your life in a detention cube.
Yeah, and he's like, you're negotiating? No, I don't negotiate.
No,
That's the
we're
terms.
not negotiating. This is how it is.
Yeah.
You've got 10 seconds to decide now.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is. And
then, bam, hot shot.
Yeah. But, I don't want to give any spoilers to the end of the movie, but by the end of the movie, you'll realise just how far Dredd is willing to go to do his job. And what cost he's willing to, and he'll happily do it. What cost he'll do to do what he thinks is right, and what he thinks is right is not swayed by anyone or anything. Like he does what he thinks. Justice is final.
Justice is absolute.
Yeah, and that's the final thing of it. So yeah, if you're wondering whether to go watch Dredd, I think you guys have already missed out not seeing it in 3D if you haven't seen it already, because I went to see it in 3D at the cinema.
Oh, I did. That was beautiful.
It was great. But the movie,
movies I loved.
Yeah, the movie itself is so good that you'll watch it and you'll want to watch it again afterwards. I've watched it tons of times, and it hasn't been out for that long. I know it's been out for since 2012, but. Whenever I think about Dredd, I don't even think of Stallone as Dredd anymore. All of that campiness, all of that is all gone because Carl Urban's Dredd
is
Dredd. There's just no substitute for it. He nailed it absolutely. And when you've got the creator of the comic book stating this is the movie that surmises what Dredd is, then you've hit the mark there. If the guy who created the character says you did it right, you've done it right. There's no other going around it. But it is a shame. The final note on this is a shame that as good as this movie is, not enough people went to see it. That's the bottom line.
But it had a really successful DVD release, didn't it?
Yeah, but even that won't save it, apparently. According to the head writer, it's just not going to happen. I know Carl Urban, I've seen tons of interviews of him saying, I want to do Dredd, I want to do Dredd 2, I want to do the whole Dredd versus Death thing, I want to go for the underbelly storyline, I want to go for the the corruption in the ranks of the Hall of Justice, all this stuff you can do.
That would be beautiful.
I know, and some people might go, wow, well, Judge Dredd 1995, Stallone did all corruption in the Hall of Justice. Yeah, but they did it with stupidity. Let's just be honest.
But they did it in a campy 80s way, so it doesn't count.
Rob Schneider was there. I think we can all agree that we would like a redo without the Schneider.
Rob Schneider cancels out all seriousness in your film.
Yeah. And I want one thing in a Judge Dredd 2 movie. I want Judge Fish to be in there.
Judge Fish?
Do you guys not know about Judge Fish?
I can't say as I do.
No.
Right, so basically there was this elderly judge that was going... This is in the comic books, so I'll leave this as the last thing, because I love Judge Fish. Right? Is that he was a bit of a dick, this judge. He was kind of corrupt, but he started losing his mind. And his best friend, because he basically lost all his friends for being a bit of a moron... He wasn't a moron, he was just a dick. Was his fish. And, each judge has a dying wish that needs to be accomplished. It's their service, their reward for their years of service. They get one wish. And his wish was that his fish became a judge. So, his fish became a legal judge. In the same breath of Judge Dredd. And there's actually like a fish in a bowl with the thing, Judge Fish.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Maybe we get a Judge Fish against Judge Dredd movie, Goldfish against man, who survives?
Is it weird that I imagine the robot suit from the Stallone Judge, but instead of a head, he's got a goldfish bowl?
He's got a goldfish bowl. But that's an actual thing.
Voice, but a fish was speaking.
Now, the good thing is, you may be thinking, oh my god, the comics sound horrible. That was only like a little jokey thing that they did for like one comic, so it's not that bad. It's not that they made a whole movie out of it.
Just like, oh god, what the hell was that?
Well, yeah, but as a massive reader of comics and manga as a whole, there's always one of those. Even in Bleach and Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note, One Piece, there's always going to be a few ones where the writers are just like, oh, fuck the story, let's do something stupid.
I'm bored, let's do something fun.
Yeah.
To say that I put the...
Yeah, before we conclude on this, Carl Urban insisted on riding the Lawmaster motorcycle himself.
Yeah.
Everything there, that was Carl Urban.
Wouldn't you want to, though?
Yeah,
that thing looks badass.
It just comes in dressed up as you, goes to get on the bike. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Fuck off. I'm riding the bike.
Yeah.
Just see the stuntman, he just slaps him away and just like, no, this
They're
is
fighting,
my time to shine.
They're fighting over the bike.
Stuntman.
I would fight over the bike, to be honest. That was badass. But here's the final thought on it is, obviously, you guys get where I'm going with this. This gets the Kit and Porter approval. This is one of my favourite movies. I am a big fan of action movies. They don't have a lot of budget, but have a lot of character progression in it. Judge Dredd is like basically an examination of Judge Dredd's character, and it just shows that even with the harshest of odds against him, he is who he is, and he doesn't budge.
Resolutes and absolutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, in terms of superpowers, his closest thing that he has to that is his conviction. That he is, he knows what he needs to do, he knows what he thinks is right, and he will go and accomplish what he thinks is right. And it's an awesome movie. And that doesn't necessarily mean that he's always correct or he's always PC about what he does, but he does it anyway because that's who he is. So cool stuff. And it's just such a shame we won't get another one, but still, we got one Dredd 3D. Let's be happy with that at the very least.
Yeah, we might be lucky and get another one.
Maybe, hopefully. If I tell you what, even if another crew pick it up, they would be stupid to give that role to anyone apart from Carl Urban at this point. It would be.
I'm pretty sure the entirety of the internet would explode.
Yeah. In our eyes,
what nerds, what people are like when they like something and they've actually given free rein to complain about it. They will, and they will do it loudly.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, when fans, even comic book fans, think of Judge Dredd in a movie sense now, they don't think of Stallone. They think of Carl Urban. He was that good. So that's the biggest praise that fans of the comics can give to him, and fans of the movie as well, because there's lots of them. Anyway, pour approval for that. That's awesome. I love Dredd 3D, and you guys will too if you're a fan of that kind of movie. And even if you're not, trust me, it will surprise you.
Yeah.
So, Tom, tell us about what has been depressing you this week. Go lay on your couch and tell us about the depressing games you play.
Well, Doctor, leading on from a dystopian future where mankind is on the brink of extinction, we go to a dystopian future where mankind is extinct.
Wow, okay. Judge Dredd failed, essentially, there
is nothing left. Mankind is a distant memory. It's actually really... Okay, start with the plot. It's set in a post-apocalyptic setting. The game follows the story of robot Horatio Nullbuilt, voiced by Logan Cunningham, who was actually the narrator in Bastion. That very sexy and almost dreamy voice.
He's got a liquid, sexy voice right there.
That's liquid. That's audible chocolate.
Oh, audible chocolate. Oh, yeah. Caramel for the ears.
It follows Horatio Nullbuilt and his companion Crispin Horatio Built. They inhabit the Unique, a derelict airship stranded in a vast desert. And then an unknown outsider robot assaults the Unique and robs them of their only power source. So Horatio and Crispin are forced to depart on a quest for on the quest for energy that will bring them to the legendary city of Metropole, the only robot city that exists.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool. What kind of game is it though?
It's a point-and-click adventure game.
Okay.
It's similar to the old school Monkey Island's adventure puzzle games.
Broken Sword, that sort of stuff.
Exactly like that. But it's actually been said that the puzzles are genuinely grounded in real-world logic and offer multiple solutions, which I can attest to because I was wandering the desert. I found this giant robot. I walk in, and it's got 3 servos, 2 of which are insane, and are telling you that you need to get the third one, and the third one doesn't want to go back because he's happy being his own little sentient being of existence.
Yeah. That's pretty funny, actually.
But you've got an option to... you've got to try and trap him to send him back to the other 2. But if you muck it up, you accidentally kill him and send him deeper into the recesses of the giant robot, which you can still get around it, but you won't get the super secret ending.
Super duper secret ending, yeah.
The super duper secret ending. And as soon as I found that out, I was just like, right, got to restart. Yeah, but no, it's how the player solves the puzzles and what the choices the player makes determines which of the game's many endings take place. And lots of little things do happen because... And lots of achievements reflect this because you get there. No, I can't say too much because one beautiful thing about this game is discovering the story and meeting the robots. I almost said people, but it's really deep. It's really intriguing. There is a cue. Well, I can't even say anything because everything's got to be a surprise.
Yeah,
it's a typical point-and-click interface. Left mouse click interacts with objects. Right mouse click examines them. Every function is needed. And it's always available from the drop-down control panel, which appears on the top of your screen. Crispin also gives a hint system he's actually really funny about it because sometimes he'll just say, "I tell you what, why don't you give me arms and legs, and I'll be the one to solve these problems." Oh wait, no, I can't. I'm a little hovering thing. Give me arms, boss. I can't. He is really sarcastic.
Oh, so there's a lot of good humour in this.
There is a lot of good humour and lots of little. And lots of little things happen that will make you laugh, and other times some things will happen where you're just like, oh, that's not good. Yes, it does actually make you feel for a few of these robots, and some things will happen, you're just like, oh, I don't like this at all. I remember one ending, I just watched it, and I was just like, this has just given me such a sour taste, I need to refresh this and just go for another ending. Even if one ending is just as depressing, it won't be as depressing as this one.
So how did the multiple endings come about? Basically, if you solve things in a certain fashion, maybe not as good as what you should have done, you get like a lesser ending or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because it's like in like point and click adventures, like they're famous for kind of being a very linear. They have like one outcome. So like I'm very interested to see like even mechanically how that works because like I know a lot of the time you use like something that you found and then it's gone forever. Does this give you like a ton of stuff and you can just use it as you please?
Not quite. It's linear, but lots of little things can branch out and branch back in and into weaves into separate little things, and then it only really properly branches out when you get towards the point where you make your decision at the ending. So it's kind of like a tree trunk, then suddenly branch. Yeah,
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Okay.
And those choices that you do at that point will pretty much like
will reflect.
Yeah.
It will remember things that have happened, and it will reflect on that. And say I worked really hard to get to that secret ending, and as soon as I find out, it was just like mind blown. It's hinted a lot. I mean, mankind is actually worshipped by some robots in this situation as the great builder. Mankind was infallible. No one knows what happened to man.
Yeah.
So, and no, I can't really say too much because a few little things. It does all connect, and it is given in the story. Because I'm not even going to mention Metropole. It's just a city full of robots that is no.
Essentially, is the story good enough that you're going to want to keep? Like one of the things I think about point-and-click games that you need is that. Like, if it's not flowed properly, then you lose people on it. Is it like it gives you enough mystique to keep you going forward, like the story in terms of what you
exactly? Do? I mean, that's actually what it's been. It's received positive reviews, and larger website Adventure Game has described Primordia as a gorgeous, clever, and melancholy science fiction parable with beautiful, surrealistic retro graphics that drip with atmosphere, which I completely agree with.
I love me some atmosphere. I love me.
It's actually been awarded. The site also awarded it Setting of the Year for its haunted world, one that oozes history far more detailed than the events laid out by the game's exposition, and one that's stuck with us for a long time after we left it behind.
So essentially, it's got all that cool lore about the background that Destiny just didn't want to give us.
Exactly.
With their broken, destroyed past that apparently they had.
And it's not even so much it kept the answers from you. It's almost like it said, "This is what you know. This is what is known here. As to what's happened in between, there's only speculation."
Nice. How long is the game?
I'd probably say about 4 to 8 hours.
4 to 8? Wow, that's quite a big...
I played 5 hours of it, so a good 5 hours. I mean, I got it for... How much did I get it for? I think I got it on the Steam sale for like tuppence. But the full retail price is $6.99, which I'd say is worth it. It's a good single experience.
You would be expecting to, like, for a good point-and-click adventure game, I'd say about 20 quid would be a good thing. And then that's, like, maybe, like, 12, 13 hours of playtime. So 5 hours for, like, 6. Like, that's all right.
It is gorgeous. It is beautiful.
It means you could do it in 2 playthroughs. You could do it over a weekend.
I could probably just churn this out and just, have like 3 or 4 days worth of content if I was going to do this.
Okay, so this sounds, right, you're making this sound like, oh, it's really cool, cool atmosphere. So why is it so depressing? I haven't heard yet why it's so depressing yet.
Because that one ending stuck with me, and it's just like, no, oh God, oh, no. If you get the good ending, then yeah, it's nice and happy. But it's just the fact it's grey, it's dark brown, it's constantly raining. It just feels like the worst, rainiest day of your life. That's the only way I can describe it. Really, it just feels like a very bad rainy day. Yeah, it's just got that feeling about it, and you're just like, oh God, what's the point of today?
I think these games are getting to you too much, man.
You can play happier games, Tom.
I think you're generally a happy person seeking out games to depress you. I don't know why you want to be depressed.
I've actually heard that from Doctor Who. Sadness is just happiness, but for deep people. I like to think that, but really, I'm just like, I'm just happy. I'm not in a post-apocalyptic robot future.
Yeah.
No, I'm not deep. I'm not.
It's like you're sad on the outside, but inside you're like, sucks to be you.
I just sit there and just like, no, I'm so empathic, but deep down I'm just like, moron.
Which is good, which is good. Good for podcasting, at least. So,
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to cover with this at all? Or I know you're like dancing around spoilers at this point.
I really can't talk about too much. It's a simple point-and-click adventure game, dripping with atmosphere. It's got a beautiful story that you're going to remember for a long time. Wormwood Studios actually released a audiobook with it, or even just the book itself, called Fallen. It's a spoiler-free spin-off story set after the game's ending.
It's
been free for its writing and art. It's available as a free PDF, EPUB, or animated audiobook. It's even on YouTube if you want to give it a listen, to give you an idea of what's what.
Well, I love point-and-click adventure games, so I think I might have to look at it.
It's just lots of little clever things, like every robot's surname is something built. It's like Horatio Null built. No one knows what he was built by. But Crispin Horatio built by Horatio, obviously.
Yeah.
So when that was just wonderful, because I would come across something called something man built, and I'm just like, what's this? What does he know? Tell me your secrets.
What about the fall of mankind? Why did Dredd not save us? Okay.
Dredd not coming to the rescue there.
So yeah, this is actually quite a short review, but it's just something I wanted to talk about, because I played this last year, and this came out in 2012, so I don't think I mentioned it in the Kittens podcast, although I talked about games from 2012, but I didn't mention it. I loved it. It's just, I give it my poor approval. If you're looking for serious action like the 95 Stallone movie, sorry, then this is, I probably would say it's not for you, but if you're looking for something deeper, quite intriguing and beautiful, like the current Dredd film, you would enjoy this.
It's okay if you do a short review, short but sweet, all killer, no filler. That's what I like to say.
Absolutely.
All killer, no
Hopefully
filler.
I've intrigued someone out there and they're just like, oh, I've got to play this game now.
I'm going to look at it. I mean, I haven't even heard of it, but I'm a big fan of like point and clicks.
Yeah.
Like I played all the Broken Sword. I love not just that as well. Like you got the Monkey Island and stuff there.
Oh, Monkey Island is just fantastic.
There's one point.
Why?
There's one point and click adventure game I won't play, and that's Broken Age, because fuck you, Double Fine. That's all I have to say.
Oh, Double Fine.
Oh yeah, I'm still angry at them, man. I'm still angry.
I'm still angry at Space Base and Iron Brigade, and I'm going to be fuming about that probably until the end of long after we finish the podcast and just bring that up.
On your deathbed, I'll come over to you and I'll be like, I'm still angry about Iron Brigade, Chris.
With my last breath, I curse Double Fine.
Yeah.
Damn you, Double Fine.
My final words will be, it was better with jetpacks.
Yeah.
But still.
That's one thing you're looking forward to in the future, aren't you?
I'm sure one of these days people are gonna someone's gonna come up, especially when we move to the other channel, and they're gonna be like, Tony, man, all he wants is stuff games like Call of Duty. He just wants to get back. They don't realise that it's actually being heavily sarcastic.
Intriguing, deep storyline game with a jetpack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is that too hard to ask for?
The one thing that would have made Dredd 3D better was maybe if he got a jetpack at the end, you know.
You and your bloody jetpack.
That would have been a really short
You in the future with a jetpack Zimmer frame.
Yeah, well, I'd love a jetpack. Wouldn't you guys look like a jetpack Zimmer frame? That'd be awesome. Surely, you know. Chris would fucking love a jetpack Zimmer frame. You'd have a jetpack wheelchair if you could, wouldn't you, Chris?
Oh yeah, I'd have everything.
In your dying chair when I whisper to you,
on your rocket deathbed.
Yeah. Buy Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, Guild Wars 2.
As it's dying, suddenly it just takes off into space and just takes you into the great beyond. Amazing Grace playing in the background while everyone salutes your departure.
Yeah. Wow, we're making this seem far more epic than it actually, you know, may end up being. I don't know, maybe. You know, we'll be around there. We're getting very morbid, talking about all of us dying in our last words.
Yeah. We all have to die together on rocket-powered beds, just shot up into
to 10 meow salute.
Oh, the only thing I'm is I have the Superman pose as I go up. I'm just going to keep my arm locked in position.
I told Stacey that when I die, if I die before her, then I want her to have like my body spring loaded into my casket. So if anyone robs my casket, I jump out and I've got like a scary face on.
No.
You know, boing, like that, you know.
I've actually told Haley that I want to be shot into a Hawaiian volcano. I would be stuck with nitrous and gunpowder. I would be wearing nothing but a lei and Hawaiian shirts. If I descended to the volcano, fireworks would go up everywhere.
Oh my god, that sounds exotically epic. You know,
I don't want anyone mourning. I just want everyone to just say, "Yeah, that was quite awesome, actually." And then literally, as they're filing away from the volcano, they're being handed pina coladas by a girl in a grass skirt.
Yeah.
I would like to live on. I would like to be immortal, and I'd like to be a brain in a jar. I think that would be quite fun.
Yeah.
Why a brain in a jar? Why not a robot?
Because then they could attach me to a robot, you know.
Tony built.
Yeah. But I don't want people to know. When people look at me, I want to be just a floating brain. I think that would be quite cool.
Just literally, you would just come apart like Kane from RoboCop 2.
Yeah.
There's a brain, and then there's a monitor just above, and there's just your face going. Ah!
And that way, what I can do is that I can make sure that Chris stays like in a case of a coma for like the last stages of his life, and that way I can just replay the sound file of By Guild Wars 2 for like the last 2 years of his life.
No, you would actually install him as an NPC in Guild Wars.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would do.
It's like, why would you waste time just playing sound to a comatose brain when you can upload that intelligence into an NPC? Oh, that's a point.
Okay.
Why don't we upload our consciousness into a Memorphica?
Oh,
and become NPCs.
Oh, that would be cool. And we could just break the game, you know.
That's the point, actually. I think that's actually going to happen at some point in the future. Just an NPC inhabited by ghosts.
What?
Just people upload their intelligences and become characters in a glorious, ever-expanding MMORPG.
I thought it would be cool if you had, like, you know, let's say World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2 for MMOs. I know we've gone on one hell of a tangent, Chris. We will get to your game soon.
Yeah. Because I had a short review, all right?
Yeah. But what I thought would be really cool is if they hired people to roleplay as main characters in their game and go out and adventure with people, and they can literally go on for like 8 hours and they say, "Oh, I need to go back to my city and do all that." And you could actually talk to like the characters, you know, people role playing as them. I thought that would be awesome. That you could run across, you could actually see one of the, you know, the main characters like of the game. You could be like, "Oh my god, I can actually go quest with him. I can actually speak to him, and he'll speak back to me." I thought that would be a really cool thing to do, but I don't know. I would do that shit for free. I would roleplay as a main character in one of these games for free. I'd do that.
So you're talking about LARPing?
Yeah, but like you're in a game anyway. When I play MMOs, I don't name my character like shitty.
Oh,
shit
no,
man.
sorry, I see what you mean. Yeah, no,
You know.
you properly go into a role and just
Yeah.
be that person.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, when I go and do apart from when I'm talking to other people, but I've done role play nights. They're really fun in Guild Wars. You can, do lots of different gestures and stuff like that. Why not have that? So you've got people hired by the company to act as these characters, and they've got the whole skins, they've got the whole look, they've got everything. They, type up and everything, the things that they would say. I think that'd be awesome, but
That could be a thing. Yeah, why not?
See, sign me
Jack
up,
coupled with
ArenaNet.
the Ghost
now.
RPG.
Sign me up today, ArenaNet. I can see Blizzard over there. They may come calling. I can see them outside my window. They might come calling. They give me a good job. I don't know. I'll still keep playing your game because it's better. But still,
Yeah.
I might come calling.
It's a good job for people who can't walk as well.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying about it would be a good idea to live in a Morpurga after death. Given how much the Japanese and Chinese value virtual life so much, probably not far off.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you can quote me on this. This will be a thing come the future.
Ooh.
It will. It will definitely be a thing.
We'll be like,
Anytime soon, but in the future it will most definitely be a thing.
episode 5000.
I'll say, do you know what? Put me up on that.
Episode 5000 of the Kittens podcast will literally just be me, and the head in a jar. And that would just be my Skype, my head just floating there, digitized sound.
You'll see my avatar.
Yeah, you're just in an MMO, with a headset on your character, just by whatever thing they use as futuristic and.
It would essentially be like that episode of South Park where they just filmed half of it in WoW.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was epic.
It was a cool episode. I will say that.
Actually.
Was it Make Love Not Warcraft? I had that on my iPod. This to show you how ages ago I had an iPod when I was still living in England. And an iPod, not even an iPhone. Back then, they didn't have iPhones. It was just iPods.
Yeah.
And I had that episode. I bought that episode to go on my iPod so I can watch it over and over again. So.
Yeah, because it was just so freaking good.
It was awesome. It was pretty cool. All right, Chris. We may as well get to yours. If we've got any more rambling, we'll do it after.
I have a segue.
Go segue. Go segue. Go.
Man to Chris Exterminating Man.
Yeah.
One Finger Death Punch.
Yes, One Finger Death Punch. A game built by, Silver Dollar Studios, which I think started out as a mobile game. I don't know, there's a mobile app for it anyway. But, it's a game that I got on the Steam Winter Sale for, I don't know, probably about a couple of quid. And it's a fun game. It's just fun. It's not serious. It's not deep. It's only got 2 buttons. But it's just fun as absolute fuck, and it's actually a really long game. Actually, there's over 215 stage. Well, there's 250 stages, 13 modes, 3 difficulty levels, and 21 skills that you can unlock.
Oh wow!
It's so it's not exactly a small game. There's plenty of playtime in it, and basically the whole thing consists around you hitting the left and right mouse buttons. That is it.
Okay.
That is
how can it be so good when it's that simple? I'm not saying that simple games can't be good.
But that's the entire control thing, and and I thought that as well when I first started playing it as well, because I originally saw someone play it. Who was it? I think it was Jacksepticeye or Markiplier play it a while ago.
One of the famous YouTubers.
Yeah, and I liked the look of it and thought, I might give that a go. So I bought it while it was on sale, and I had fucking loads of fun with it. But mostly because it's actually it's one of those games that looks really, really simple and looks like it would take you 5 minutes to master it, but it's actually quite challenging because in this game you control a stick man in the middle of the screen, and enemies come at you from the left and the right side of the screen. When they get within a certain hitbox, which extend on either side of your character, when they get in that box, you have to hit the mouse button on the side that they're coming. You don't have to put the mouse on the hitbox or anything. The mouse can be anywhere on the screen. You just have to hit left or right.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't. But the thing is, you can't button mash your way through this game, because if you hit the right mouse button and there's nothing in the right hitbox, the enemy that's nearest that hitbox will then speed up and punch you, and you'll lose life.
Yeah.
Or you'll miss something and you'll get hit anyway. But
what I'm instantly thinking of is that it's got the feelings of a rhythm game, that you can't just bash the buttons. You need to go bang bang. You need to get a method going with it to go with it. Is that sort of what it's like?
Yeah, you need to pay attention to it. You can't just sit there just smashing the button. You need to wait until they're in the hitboxes. you need to prioritize targets in the later levels as well, because a lot of the beginning levels are literally just mob levels where a certain amount of them will come at you from either side of the screen, and you just got to like hit them all and take them all out. But in the later levels, there's ones where they'll come at you from one side of the screen. You'll go to hit them, they'll dodge and come at you from the other side. So then you've got to hit them on the other side, and if you don't do it quick enough, they'll take you out. And there's some of them that require more than one hit. Some of them will take 2 hits in one direction, but another hit in another direction. Like, it gets a bit crazy in places. There's things that throw things at you. In the later levels, it gets fucking insane. I've got, like...
When, like, the speed just goes mental and you've got, like, many...
Like, because every time you beat a stage, the speed you get a speed multiplier increase. Mine's at, like, 157 by now.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, at, like, the later stages, when you've got a mob round of, like, 90 dudes, it gets fucking insane. And... yeah, you've actually got to have quite quick reactions to do this and not die. I mean, you'll find in like the first few stages you'll be getting like platinum and gold medals handed to you like candy, but in the later stages you'll be lucky to get a bronze.
Yeah, just to survive at very least.
Yeah, and the music in it is solid. Like, well, like give it a bit of like a bit more detail. It's basically a kung fu game, and there's a few different styles of kung fu that are used. All the music is like orientated.
Yeah, oriental. Yeah.
Yeah, that word even that sentence
from the Orient,
yes,
Orient land.
From that particular part of the earth.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's all based around that, so it all feels kung fu-y, and it's very good at making you feel like a badass. I have to say, especially when it gets really insane in some places, and when you get the light sword. And the laser nunchucks.
What?
Yeah, you get fucking laser nunchuck levels. It's fucking insanity. It's just like... and like all the sounds are really good as well. So all like the impact sounds sound like proper impacts. They're like kind of all the weapon sounds sound good as well. Like it's quick, it's fast paced. Visually, it's quite nice as well. And like even though it was done by a small studio and it is an indie game.
I've heard that the makers of this game have like a really bad history. Like they've made some utter shit. That's what I've heard anyway from them. Like I haven't played anything from them, but I've heard they've made some bad games. Like this game was like a shock because they expected it to be shit and it wasn't.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people have said. They're like, it's actually really good. Like it had no reason to come out from these people. Like. But that's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah, but it's a nice surprise. It's like kind of like you know, and it's nice that a good game can come out of a shitty developer sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, well, I didn't know nothing about this developer until I picked up this game, and I was like, oh, this is actually quite fun. I mean, it's not a game that's going to make you think about life or anything like that, or it's going to impact you emotionally, but it's a good time waster one. And if you get the game on mobile, it's a little bit smaller. There's not as much music in it, and like, kind of obviously the visuals are a little bit more rubbish because it's on a phone. But
yeah,
that's a good game to play when you're taking a shit. You can definitely do a power shit when you're playing.
Power shit, a one-finger power shit. That just sounds awful.
Oh God Almighty!
It makes you feel so awesome. You just power all of it out in one go. Just go.
Wow, this podcast just went to the shitter pretty quickly, didn't it?
Pun intended?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I said it.
Yeah, it is good fun. I mean, like it's just a fun game, and I enjoyed playing it. And like I enjoyed playing it from the first time I picked it up. If I've ever got like 15, 20 minutes to waste, I'll just like switch it on and play and like knock a few stages out. And it does get really challenging as well, and you have to react quickly. You have to focus on it. It's not something you can master all that quickly, because you'll get dudes coming at you from like every which way, and for some of the enemies as well, you have to hit. Some of them will be multi-hit enemies, but you'll have to hit them in a certain combination of the left and right mouse buttons. So you have to like respond quickly to that. And some of them go by ridiculously quickly. And if you want to get like all the top scores and the platinum and gold medals, you can't get hit and you can't miss.
Does it have like leaderboards, like Steam leaderboards and stuff and like that at all? Because I imagine that'd be a cool game to try and
I know the mobile one does. The mobile one has leaderboards for the survival mode, which is cool. And I managed to get like on top of the rookie leaderboard the first time I played it. So I was like, ha, boss.
Yeah.
I I haven't played the survival mode in the actual PC. I've been doing mainly the story mode, but I think it might do. Yeah.
Because that would be good. Because I mean, if you got Steam leaderboards at the very least that come with your it comes with your friends. I'm just thinking of stuff like with playing GTA recently, is that it saves all your friends' times on races and stuff, so you can try and beat them and everything like that. It's pretty cool. But
yeah, but yeah, it is a good game, and it's quite visually nice as well. It's like it's very cinematic, like all the boss battle music and the music for the laser nunchuck and light sword fights is really big, huge, and cinematic, so it feels quite badass. Like there's lots of different kind of modes they have as well. There's the lightning round where you can't see what color the enemies are, because you can usually tell what type of enemy what combination of buttons you need to use on an enemy based by their color. But in a lightning round, you can't see what color they are, so you've got to pay attention to the little box underneath them, which will show you how many hits they take.
Yeah.
What type of hits they take. So, and that get really fucking tricky when you get to the later levels. And you will get the shit kicked out of you on some level. You will get decimated on some of them. I have been a few times. Where everything's just hit the fan and it's gone fucking mad. Whoa.
Just overwhelmed with uber quick stick men.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, one thing, I saw a trailer, not like a trailer, basically a piece on it, on the game. And you know what it reminded me of? There was back in the days where the internet was in its infancy, and one of the earliest things you could see on there were basically stickmen fights.
Oh god, yes.
Newgrounds, yeah.
Stinger Man death fight or whatever.
Yeah, and there was tons of them.
I still maintain that those are some of the best videos on the internet.
Yeah, it's still so
Those are really old kind of stick figure ones, especially where it will be a stick figure versus creator. And it would be the stick figure inside the desktop with the with the mouse cursor. Those were really good. Those were really cool and quite imaginative to do. And
they were so clever, weren't they? They were so good.
They were really nice. And Newgrounds, I can't believe Newgrounds is still going. Jesus Christ! It's all the original I think that's where file format sharing, video and sharing and game sharing first came into being.
Yeah, YouTube wasn't around then. YouTube was if it was around, it was early years. No one was really using it.
Yeah, because Facebook was the same as well. It's Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, all of these things that are absolutely huge now. They were still very much in their infancy, if not even around.
I still remember using MySpace. Come on, that's so crazy.
Oh god, I remember MySpace.
Who remembers Hotmail and MSN Messenger?
My Hotmail is still
use Hotmail.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've still got a Hotmail account for my Facebook. That's how old that is.
Yeah, my email is old, man, at this point. Over 10 years old, my Hotmail. So
it's who uses MSN Messenger nowadays?
I know.
I mean, most kids these days who know how to use say Facebook or YouTube back to front, or know how to use Twitter back to front, or Tumblr. You go up to them and quote the social sites or the things that we used when we were teenagers, when the internet was still very much in its infancy. They won't know what the fuck you're on about.
They don't even know what dial-up is.
Yeah.
They're experts of the internet. They didn't suffer the hardships we did.
They will never know though.
You know what's the bad thing is that because often the dial-up will be on an hour thing, after an hour you'd have to re-dial up, remember? So everyone knew exactly what that tune was of dialing back into the internet, because you hear it on an hourly basis.
Oh yeah, and you couldn't use you couldn't use the phone at the same time as well.
You've gone all quiet on us, Chris.
Yeah, and you couldn't use the phone at the
right.
same time as well, could you?
Yeah.
The amount of times your mum or dad would yell up, "Get off the internet! I need to use the phone."
Yeah.
5 more minutes. No, I didn't make a phone call.
And like I said, MSN Messenger. Do you know what's funny? The last time I used MSN Messenger was to talk with my wife, and that was about 7-8 years ago.
Oh. And you haven't talked to her since then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the opportunity was there, and it just had to be taken.
Yeah, it's just the amount of technology advances that have happened just since the internet came into being. I mean, because we were really we were teenagers just at the right point, because we've seen just how much the internet and technology as a whole has progressed over our generation. To get to the point where it is now, where kids these days take it for granted. They just think it's always existed. We were there for its birth and growth.
There's actually stages of technology appreciation. I mean, from 1 to 8 or 9, that's just like that technology has always been there. Time has never existed without it. From 9 to 30 or 40, everything is new and exciting and revolutionary. And from 40/50 onwards, it's an abhorrence that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, it's just like
fuck it.
don't understand it, don't want to understand it, just not.
It should not be. In my day, we had this. We didn't need anything else. This was fine.
Yeah, I always think that's funny that like some people are like, oh, back in my day, it's not your day anymore. It's a new day. Things evolve.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day.
I say that. I mean, I don't mean it. I don't try and crush old people's dreams or anything like that. But when they say, I don't understand why so many people use computers nowadays. Well, you people wouldn't understand back then why people started using tanks in wars at that days when you could have a gun. You know what I mean? Like things evolve. They're meant to evolve. People don't know why. Things
progress. This is progression.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you don't understand it, that means you haven't gone with the times. That's the bottom line of it. Like my brother-in-law says he doesn't understand why people watch other people watch YouTube videos of people gaming. He just doesn't understand why that is the case. And it's like, well, that's just things. That's how things have evolved. You can't deny the fact
kids
that
don't watch TV anymore. They watch YouTube.
Yeah, you can't ignore the fact that gamers now have a stranglehold over YouTube as a whole. Like look at PewDiePie. He gets millions of views on his videos. Like for gaming, Markiplier, as we know, which I think is much more bearable than PewDiePie. I can't stand PewDiePie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
fair enough.
Like that's gaming. Like you look at the audiences they have. That's more than
they've got subscribers into the millions.
Yeah,
they get paid. I don't know how much, but they can actually make a living doing this day in, day out.
They do make a very good living as well. Like some of them are very well off.
Well, PewDiePie's got enough subscribers to fill a small country.
Yeah,
he's got the entire population of a country following him. It's insanity.
I think basically the bottom line of it is, I know we went on one hell of a tangent. The bottom line of it is when people say that to me, it's like, well, if you don't understand it, you at least have to accept it when these guys are getting views for their videos more than some shows get views on TV. That's the bottom line of it. That's just the way it is. That's the way things have changed. That's
yeah. I mean, a lot of people got angry at PewDiePie for him disabling his comments. I don't blame him personally. I can understand why he did it. He has over 30 million people following him. Even if a fraction of that number comment on his videos, he's gonna have no fucking hope of even reading half of them before they update, or let alone replying to them. I mean, Jacksepticeye at the moment kind of prides himself for being very responsive to his community, but
which he is. He's very good at that.
A fraction of PewDiePie's numbers, even he's having trouble keeping up with it.
And when so many of those people are abusive and just being trolls, it reaches a point where you just have to shut it out, don't you?
Yeah, just like fuck.
It's like with the wrestling podcast that myself and Matt do, which is growing in success. We're answering all fan questions, but now we've had to put a disclaimer at the fact of it will come to a point if the show keeps progressing that's just not going to be feasible anymore. We'll have to start cherry picking what questions we answer.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. But I've got no issue with YouTubers disabling comments. If that's what they decide to do for their channel, do it. If you've got a problem, unsubscribe. It's easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Done. Don't have any issue with it.
Don't subscribe to us, though. We love each and every one of you.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, though? If our subscribers, for some reason, don't like we allow comments, but if they don't like the fact that I will block them if they make calling someone a faggot or something like that, which is really evil, or say, oh, you're a bunch of cunts, I will block you. If you have a reason, if you think that's bad, then just don't leave the comment. It saves both our time, honestly.
Oh yeah, I did the same on my channel as well. If someone gets abusive in the comments, or if someone is being a dick for the sake of being a dick, I will report you.
Yeah, I just ban them. I block them straight away. Yeah.
Be an adult.
Yeah, I don't give him a try. I don't give him a try.
Grown ups here.
Yeah.
There was a guy, I remember, my most successful video that I did was the looking back at Guild Wars 1, which is now over 12,000 views. But obviously that gets a lot of comments. And there was this person there saying, oh, all you people saying that Guild Wars 1 is the best, you're all C words, I don't care. They're all a bunch of cunts, basically, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I will ban you if you continue to use this sort of stuff. And he continued to use it, so I blocked him. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. It's an easy thing. I just think people get too annoyed. They for some reason, when you've got someone like these top YouTubers who have millions of views, I don't understand why people think they're part of a community Like, you're never going to speak directly to that person. Yeah, enjoy their work, but it's when they get upset, oh, we can't comment on your videos anymore, you're turning your back on us. Really? I doubt the guy was really going to read your comments anyway when he's got 100,000 comments on each video. It's just not going to happen.
It's not
Be
feasible.
realistic.
Yeah. I'm really expecting, like, a YouTuber who has, like, you know, that level of subscribers, like, expecting them to actually reply specifically to you and then getting shitty because they don't is unrealistic in the extreme.
It's immature to think that at the end of the day.
I mean, 9 out of 10, they're not even going to like see your comment, let alone have time to read it and reply to it. And YouTube takes up a lot of their fucking time. I mean, like, we have a bit more time to ourselves because we're not massive YouTubers. So, like, there's not really a lot of pressure on us to post every single day or to, like, dedicate our entire life to YouTube. Whereas the bigger YouTubers, like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Total Biscuit, Captain Sparkles, Smosh, Game Grumps, they dedicate their whole life, like, just to name a few, they dedicate their whole lives to doing YouTube, and it takes up their whole lives. They spend all of their day recording, editing, uploading. So, you know, they don't have a lot of time, and like kind of in that space, they've got to have their own lives. Yeah. I mean, they can't just like you know, spend. They've got to have some time for themselves, otherwise they'll go fucking mad.
Yeah, no.
Lose their sense of humanity. They've got to go out and get some human interaction. They've got to go out for dinner with their other halves. They've got to, like, you know,
interact with their family, with their friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I think like the whole thing about it. I get really like, I'm like, really, guys, when I see comments of like, you're turning your back on us, you don't believe in us, and it's like, he's never going to meet you. Fuck off! Why are you thinking this? Like, if you didn't sign up thinking this guy loved you, I don't subscribe to Total Biscuit thinking that guy thinks I'm a stand-up guy. He wants to start batting for me. I subscribe to him. You know what? Because he's entertaining. That's why I subscribe to him, because he does good content. I don't think that I'm not personally involved in Total Biscuit. I don't. If he decides to stop people from commenting on his channel, I'm not going to lose any sleep. I don't go on his channel to comment. I go on his channel to watch his videos. And I just think it's so idiotic. People go like, going back to that Gildas video. I don't want this to be really bad. I miss a lot of comments on there because there is a lot on there. I mean, there's only like there's less than 100, and that's been out for like a couple of years. Well, not about a year. Like, I don't catch all the comments on there because a lot of them are people talking to each other. So I'm not going to react if someone says to me then, "Oh, TurboTony doesn't care about his fans because he doesn't respond to all of our posts." Why should I? There's no reason for me to do that, you know.
That wasn't the agreement.
It's not as if I said I was going to, and a lot of these comments aren't even directed at me. They're just your statements on what you think the game is. I don't actually recall
any YouTuber saying, I'm going to respond to each and every one of your comments.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard Jacksepticeye say, if I can, I will try to respond. If I can, I will at least answer your question in my comments videos. But
but he
says he will try. He doesn't say he's going to answer each and every one.
Because YouTubers won't just have their YouTube account; they'll have a Twitter account. Some have a Tumblr. Some of them have Google Plus, which screws the whole thing up as well.
Google Plus is shit. Google Plus is so bad.
Google Plus will fuck you over. They'll have Twitter, they'll have Facebook, they'll have like probably half a dozen other like social pages just to get the word out about their channel, because they want to grow as a channel. So they're going to have all of these like third party sites which people will comment on. And so, to keep track of all like even Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube, just to keep track of those three, like when you've got that level of like subscribers, would just be fucking insanity. You wouldn't be able to do it. You'd have no time to record any content.
Yeah, no, I get you. And this isn't even just YouTubers, by the way. This whole kind of thing that we've gone into here.
Yeah.
This goes towards not even YouTubers, but it's also celebrities in terms of like media, right? I don't give a shit if, let's say, Colin Farrell, he does loads of stupid stuff, right? He goes out and does something that annoys his fans. Apparently he's betrayed them all. I don't give a shit. All I want him to do is make out good movies that entertain me when I watch them. That's all I require of the guy. If he doesn't do it, I will stop watching his movies. It's very simple. If he says all the fans of mine, I don't give a shit about him. I actually don't care that much. I'm just like, well, okay, I'll just stop watching your stuff. It's very easy.
End of the day, he's just a dude.
Yeah.
And people get all shitty with celebrities. It's like when like kind of everyone got all up in arms at Miley Cyrus. I was like, why should I care?
Well, there's one thing about Miley Cyrus that I think is a little bit stupid, right? Yeah. One thing with her that I will state is a little bit off, is that she she did her thing, and it was like there's a different thing, right? With movie stars, when you do movies, you've got an age restriction on them. When you're watching like stuff like award ceremonies, and you've got all these kids watching them, and she's grinding up on some guy, I do think that's wrong. But anything that she wants to do in her own personal life is completely down to her. I don't give a shit. Yeah. But like, you know, if my daughter goes up and she's 14 watching an endorsed show that's for like a 14-year-old, and there's her, you know, basically stating to the guy behind her, just do me in the arsehole while I twerk on you. I do have something wrong. But you know, I mean, that's down to production and how they book the thing, you know, and they allowed her to do it, you know.
See, I was wondering if she had actually had an ulterior motive behind that. I mean, everyone's just jumped to the conclusion that she's just a fucking crazy dirtbag whore. And I was like, what? She's actually got a massive ulterior motive behind everything she's doing.
That reinvigorated her career, Miley Cyrus. It definitely did.
Yeah, well, it did. Well, yeah, it kind of brought her back into the spotlight, and it definitely earned her some money. Yeah. But what if she's kind of like drawing attention to just how ridiculous like the whole pop genre has gotten, and to kind of go and I had someone getting shitty about this a little while back and was ranting for about 15 minutes about how much of a gigantic whore she is and how she's a bad influence on kids. I was like, well, have you spoken to your kid about it? You know, have you set them straight? Have you taken the time to sit them down and gone, don't do that, that's fucking stupid?
Yeah.
But, oh no, she should know better. So, well, then maybe she's drawing attention to the fact that you should be a better parent.
Or, you know, at the end of the day, like, if she starts doing that stuff and I have a proper issue with it, I just went to listen to Miley Cyrus. That's very easy for me to do.
I mean, I don't think, parents are very quick to judge celebrities and to blame celebrities and other sources for their kids' misbehaviour. And yes, I can say that, viewers, because I do actually have a child.
Yeah, and I can say that because I do as well.
I have a 6-year-old daughter, so I do have a child, and I'm not going to blame this. And if she misbehaves, it's her fault she misbehaves. I'm not going to blame a celebrity for her misbehaving.
Yeah.
If she misbehaves, she needs to be sat down and explained that that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, maybe parents, if they're... Sorry. I will just say, if your child is taking on a celebrity that does stupid things as a role model, maybe you should provide a better role model, either as yourself or a better celebrity or fictional source. I don't care.
When it comes down to like video games and music and media and like movies, there has never ever been more ways to have parental controls over what your child watches. There is tons of ways to do it if you're willing to educate yourself on how to use said things.
Yeah.
I would not give my child an iPhone, not knowing what that iPhone can do and if I can block shit on it. That's just the way I
used to work for games. The amount of times I would have to say to parents, "You are aware this is an 18 certificate?" They go, "No." And it's just like, oh, for God's sake, come on.
Just look at the box, you know, it's not hard.
Yeah.
Like,
although, this was actually my favourite moment in game. I remember this little, 7-year-old blonde lad, he wanted a 15-rated game. His mum came up and handed it to me. I just took one look. I looked at her in the eye and said, "You are aware this is a 15 certificate game?" She looked at her son and said with a tone of absolute beauty, "No, I did not know this game was a 15. And that little kid just tried his best. He flashed the most winning smile he could muster. She handed me the case back and said, "Thank you, but we won't." And she just took off without a look back. And that kid just shot me the filthiest look he could muster.
You shot him down.
And I was just... That's how we roll, how we roll here.
Yeah, but I've made, and I'll be honest with this, right? Parenting is hard. It really is hard. Yes. But any mistakes that I make while I parent my kids in terms of what games and what stuff they listen and stuff, that's on me. I let them watch that. I put them in a situation where they can watch this stuff. That's my fault. I was not looking at my children and what they were doing. So if a kid comes to me and if my child comes to me and starts saying a swear word, it's down to me then to say, well, actually that word isn't correct. And I've done that. My child now, my little girl, if she hears the word bitch from anyone, she will correct them on it. I think it's brilliant.
Oh, right.
Yeah. She'll go, "That's a naughty word, you are naughty for saying it." And I'm like,
you just reminded me of this newspaper article I read 2 years ago. A child somehow strangled himself on the hanging drawstrings from a blind, and the parent tried to blame the blind company for the fact that her child died.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, okay, do you remember Manhunt?
Yeah.
The huge debacle on that. Apparently... Oh, that was fantastic. The parents of the murderer tried to get Rockstar sued, but it turned out that the killer never touched the game, but it was actually the victim who owned a copy of the game.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
It's just some.
Yeah.
But
I
like
mean,
the thing is, I hate.
parents that like go batshit about things like this
Yeah.
are the parents who don't bother to educate the thing that they're bitching about.
It's
I mean,
like the
about
classic
something they
thing.
haven't bothered to educate their child in. If you educate your child in things like that, they won't turn out to be like a messed up psychopath.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched like kind of I watched over 18 films when I was a teenager. We all did. I drank underage. I smoked underage. I tried weed. I'm fully ready to admit on the internet that I have done these things.
Yeah.
Because I was educated in these things by my parents, because my parents treated me like an adult when I was a teenager and explained to me the dangers of these things and explained things to me, I'm not a messed up psychopath who goes around stabbing people, alcoholic or anything like that.
Say that we at the Kittens of War do not endorse Chris's behaviour as a teenager. These things should not be touched until you're over the age of 21, and then possibly 60 years after that.
Or appropriate age limit for country/state.
Now, I'm going to drop some truth here, because I know we've gone on one hell of a tangent. We may as well, right? Yeah. Fair enough to Chris for saying all that. I'm sure everyone will, whether they would like to admit it or not, everyone's been in that situation.
Stuff when they're teenagers. You're a teenager.
Yeah,
that's like the time to make mistakes, so you can learn from them.
Exactly. Like, I expect that my child will come to me at a younger age saying, I've had alcohol and stuff like this. And it's not so much like I'm able to it's not so much, I didn't have my eyes on them all the time. It's sometimes you have to let them have their freedom. This stuff happens with freedom, and then you teach them otherwise. Or, or maybe even if they don't touch it at all because you previously taught them, that's fine as well. But
yeah,
like the one thing,
cotton wool, that does them more damage.
The big line that annoys me when it comes to like the parenting and video games argument is actually like to do like Grand Theft Auto. That's the main thing everyone annoys at, right? Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is teaching our children how to be criminals. Well, your children should be playing the fucking game. It's an 18 for a fucking reason. You're 12-year-olds. I've got a friend of mine. I won't say who it's from. And she's not really a friend of mine. It's just someone that I know, right? Who her son, of a very young age, less than 10, plays Grand Theft Auto. Now, it's down to her if anything happens. If he punches a kid on the street saying, well, I learned that in this game, that's down to her parenting style.
Yeah, that is
flat out.
her fault. That is the parents' fault.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I've got to cut across, because did you guys hear about the GTA...
Australia thing, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just the fact that they've taken it down for reasons of it incites violence against women. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, Total Biscuit covered it.
Oh, I didn't realise he did, but
Well, Australia's always been a bit OP on their banning laws. They've always been like a little bit heavy-handed.
Yeah. Well, the thing about that, the whole controversy was that I think it was a bunch of former sex workers started up a petition to remove it off because it allowed you to kill prostitutes. And it was like the game actively enforces that you do so. And it's like, well, actually, the game doesn't make it so you have to go kill prostitutes. It gives you the choice of doing so, and it gives you punishments for doing so. If you do it in front of a police officer, you will get chased by police. You will learn the consequences of that. And it's like...
I don't think it's actually pigs violence against any one specific gender. It's just... You just...
They didn't single out sex workers, did they? They didn't.
I don't just recollect any specific... Okay, mind you, I'd say GTA 4, you did, but that you shot a porn star, not a sex worker.
Yeah, but...
Well, what was that? I can't even remember why that was.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But like,
it's
like they came up with this big campaign saying, "Oh, GTA is so it's so evil, it's so racist," and it's like you could shoot a white person and shoot a black person, you both get the same consequences for doing it.
Yeah, but that's the point of GTA, though.
Yeah, is you have the choice.
It's a hyper reality game. It's like that's the point of it, and that's what so many of these these people who have a problem with the game miss, is that it's amped up to such a degree that it's ridiculous. It's meant to show you these things are in reality.
Yeah.
So,
like, you kill way more white male Americans than any other race or gender in that game. Playing through the story.
You waste a butt ton of them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not as if you're going out singling black people and killing them. You're singling out women and killing them. In the storyline, the ones that your only ones that you're really forced to kill because they're your enemies are white male Americans.
Yeah, I mean there are some black guys scattered in between. There's some black cops or some of the agents that you encounter might be black, but like the vast percentage of them are actually white.
Exactly. So I don't think there's anyone Like, it's like the Mass Effect thing. That was the classic thing.
Oh.
This game is porn. This game can feature
Knee-jerk
you having
reaction.
sex. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Play the
Oh.
fucking game, and then you realise. God.
Oh,
I
Jack
guarantee you
Thompson.
got half of those parents and those like kind of mums that were going, I don't want my child subjected to this,
Yeah.
was fapping to 50 Shades of Grey that night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, like,
I
here's
see.
one thing.
It's
I will defend parents on one thing. Now, this is one thing that they can state that they tried to parent correctly, but something about the product was wrong. If they get sold like a age 3 game like Dora the Explorer, and suddenly Dora has a scene where she decapitates a monkey, then that's wrong on the
Yes.
on the publishers and the makers and obviously the people that rated that game. I completely get with like parents of that. If they think there's something's wrong in like in a game that's actually meant for their,
Marketed for younger children.
then fair enough. But we're talking about GTA. If you've got an issue with GTA, then don't let your kids play it until they're
So
18.
everyone knows what GTA is.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what to expect.
Yeah.
Just, like, the only way that I'm going to let I don't play the only thing I play in GTA is the online races in front of my daughter, right?
Yeah.
So that means I don't leave my house in the game. I let her dress up my girl character. I don't use any guns because I know exactly what I want my child to see in that game if I'm playing it. I don't play any death matches. I don't play any missions. I don't play the story. I play races because they're races. There's nothing more violent than that except for maybe Burnout, which I think isn't really violent. It's just crashing cars. So I'm not planning on putting my child in the front seat and driving a car anytime soon. So you know that's okay in my eyes. So, well, we went on one hell of a tangent. Have you finished reviewing One Finger Death Punch, Chris?
Well, yeah. Well, again, this is a short review because it is a fairly simple game. But it's a small, simple, fun game. Don't button mash with it because you'll die. But yeah, it is worth getting and it is worth playing because it's just a fun game to play and it's brilliant and it's just wapasha.
Oh, Chris-aru.
Yeah, and it does encourage some slightly racist sound effects, but you just can't help it. You kind of follow along because you actually get those sound effects in the game as well. And you can't help but just go along with it.
Where's the petition for this game to be censored, huh? I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, because if you really are that against the gaming, just fuck it.
Especially seeing as the guy who does a lot of the voiceover sounds quite racist. I don't know if he is actually Chinese
But it comes off that way.
or not, but kind of like it does sound like a fake accent in some places.
Yeah.
Especially when you switch it on and she goes, fight using the left and the right mouse button.
Yeah.
So, what? Is that?
Oh dear. So, is there anything that you guys would like to wrap up this podcast? We've had a healthy amount there, guys. We went on one hell of a tangent talking
Yeah,
about
we've gone on a
censorship
couple
and
of tangents this one.
Should we say goodbye to Tony's channel?
yeah. Say goodbye to my channel. Bye. Get the fuck out
Sad
of here.
music playing in the background now.
Yeah, so just to remind everyone that we are moving, obviously, to the Kittens of War channel. Like I said, I will put a video up with a link and explaining what you can expect from there. In terms of what this means for my own channel, because I know I don't post that often, the reason I don't post that often is because I'm swamped with podcast work. I do a podcast of a wrestling one at the weekend. I do this one, and that pretty much takes up the majority of my week, because I have to watch a wrestling show, which takes up the majority of my week. So
You do two wrestling ones, don't you?
sometimes, yeah, it depends on whether there's a pay-per-view. But obviously I do the Kittens of War podcast as well, which is this one, which is a lot of fun. But the cool thing about this, about like I said, that one is that we all have access to that YouTube channel, so you may see some group stuff done on there randomly, and you might obviously see the podcast. You might see some people there that you haven't seen before trying to do videos. It would be fun, honestly.
Yeah.
So Haley and I will going to be trying. Hey Swanboat and I will be trying to put up some videos in the near future. Can't say when precisely, but we are going to try and get some kicked off.
Yeah, get some commentaries down, man. That'd be awesome. So apart from that, guys, we reviewed this week Dredd 3D, the movie. Primordia, One Finger Death Punch. We were one hell of a rant in terms of what we want to be when we're dead, and parenting in video games, which got very political. But we'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
By all means, comments. Just comment. We love it.
Yes, of course. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, and then you can then find out the link to the new channel. We go to the Kittens of War Gaming Community channel, which will be really fun. Apart from that, guys, thank you lot for listening to this episode. I hope that my technical difficulties don't continue in this episode. You actually end up hearing it. That would be fun. But apart from that, guys, we'll catch you. May not be next week because like I said, we will be moving on to the new channel. But regardless, you'll hear about it. But you will be hearing us from soon on the new channel. We may be tweaking the show a little bit as well for you there. So, say goodbye, guys. Say goodbye to the fans.
All right, bye, fans.
Bye,
Bye, people. Bye.